Hey everybody, this is Duncan McDonald with Origins Medicine, and I am super excited today to talk to you about some changes that are happening in our practice. And a lot of those changes are around bringing new tools and services to help my larger patient base finally meet and exceed some of their health goals that they have. And in order to do that, lifestyle change is really at the core of a lot of that change. And so I am super happy to be working in collaboration with Kalish Wellness, Dan Kalish, my previous mentor. And through Kalish Wellness in this collaboration, we're working with a really exciting new health coach who is going to provide services to everybody here in my clinic and in my telemedicine practice, like via telemedicine. And her name is Jennifer. And Jennifer is one of just a couple of thousand actually nationally board certified health coaches in the country. So I'm super excited to be able to work with her, and it's going to bring a new depth to what we do and really allow all of us, I think, to come away from our health programs with a real plan of action to not only clear away the medical obstacles, but to actually change the way we live so that we're not ending up back in my practice all the time. So Jennifer, I'll let you sort of briefly introduce yourself, and then we'll tell people a little bit about what it is that we're doing together.
Yeah, like Duncan said, I'm Jennifer. I am a functional medicine and nationally board certified health coach. And I'm partnering here with Kalish Wellness and Origins Medicine. And I think it's important that people put a name with a face, because when you schedule a free 15-minute consult, or when you start the new client intake process, I'm the person that you're talking to. And since it's done via mainly phone, telemedicine, a lot of times people don't know who they're actually talking to. So it's me. And when you have questions, concerns, and everything, I'm the point of contact that people reach out to, and kind of the inner connection between Duncan and with each client. So I'm also very, very passionate about what I do. I personally have multiple autoimmune diseases, and functional medicine played a huge role in my healing process. And I absolutely love working with clients and helping them start to dig in, make changes, and really understand, what the root cause is and what's going on with their health.
And I think those are super important points. So what I've realized in the last 20-something years of being in medical practice is that as practice gets busier and busier, my time and attention has to be pulled to more sort of direct, tangible medical needs. And that's come at the expense sometimes of some of the lifestyle coaching that I would like to provide. I'm a practitioner, obviously, of functional medicine, but also of Chinese medicine. And one of the principles of Chinese medicine is that lifestyle is the strongest medicine. And in functional medicine, we put people on health plans in order to clear away the obstacles so that the lifestyle changes can actually cement their health benefits. There's a really old saying from a Chinese medical text that was written about 1,000 years ago that says, the wise doctor first changes the patient's diet. If that doesn't work, then they do acupuncture, because that adds nothing to the system. If that doesn't work, then they use stronger medicines. But the strongest medicine is always done by changing the patient's lifestyle via diet or exercise. There's the 5 branches of health in Chinese medicine. We're talking about acupuncture and herbs, obviously, but then the diet and nutrition aspects, the meditation or qigong type aspects, the exercise and correctly exercising for what one's health status is. Like, we have to be gentle in our lifestyle approach so that our bodies can heal, so that then we can be more vigorous and rigorous with our efforts going forward. So anyway, Jennifer, can you tell me a little bit about what our telemedicine patient base, what my functional medicine patients can look forward to in terms of their expectations from health coaching?
Yeah, so I guess first off, before they even go down the coaching route, I conduct an intake session with them. And so we do a comprehensive review of their health history, but also of their lifestyle and diet and where they're at. A lot of people have already made a lot of changes, but they still have other ones they can keep, working forward. And so it's a very comprehensive session that happens before you even see Duncan, as part of kind of getting you going. And sometimes we walk away with already dietary lifestyle goals set directly from that session. Each client's different, so it kind of depends. But that's kind of where we start. From a health coaching standpoint, one of the most powerful aspects of health coaching is that there is a ton of information out there. Most people know what they need to do, but knowing what you need to do and actually turning it into action is typically the biggest challenge people face. And so that's where a health coach comes in. We really help you kind of break down, first off, overwhelm, and especially if you're diagnosed with something and there's a lot of information thrown at you. But then we also try to dig in and understand what motivates you. What is your why?
Right. The why, that's like one of the most important things. And
If
this
you
is
don't know
something
that,
yeah, I mean, I've been reflecting on this myself lately in the journaling that I do as part of my practice. And it's the patients that I see who are most successful in the clinic on a day-to-day basis are the patients who understand the why of what they're doing,
Yep.
And I think that overwhelm comment that you just made is super important too. There is so much contradictory information out there now that I will often make recommendations to a patient, but by the time they get home, it's like out of their head and they've seen 5 Yahoo News article titles that contradict everything that was said, and they're just lost and they don't know what to do. So having somebody who can actually keep the health plan on track is just so it's probably a huge part of the success of anybody's health journey.
I think what people don't realize is they come into a session a lot of times assuming I'm going to tell them what to do. And that's not the case. We actually, when we figure out what your why is and start to figure out, everybody has mental, emotional things that are motivating them and also that create roadblocks. And so we start to dig into those items and we start to identify like, what, if this was a successful and in 6 months you felt better, what does that look like? What changes for you in your life? What can you do that you can't do now? And we start to try to create a vision for the future. And then in that, people start to create goals and they start to move forward. But most people create goals that aren't realistic. Like,
right.
I want to lose 90 pounds and I want to do it in 3 months. And but then there's no plan of action to get there. And so we start to
pound a day, that's realistic.
But you got to make changes, right? And so a lot of times we have to start setting, like, what do you need to do to even get to this goal, right? And so it's breaking it down into smaller steps and smaller, like bite-sized pieces so that it's actually becomes long-term change and not just a short-term fix that doesn't really implement, over the lifespan.
Right. Yeah. And then, to that point, when people are figuring out their whys and they're figuring out what their life could be like, 6 months, 3 years, 5 years from now, if they put the right lifestyle practices in place. Can you talk for a second about this powerful new tool that we're using, the Living Matrix, and how that can take all of the patient's health history information and almost create a past picture of a representation of what's happened, almost perhaps because they haven't had those whys in order. But this is a new thing that we're launching out with Origins Medicine and Kalish Wellness right now. That is a tool for all of my patients. I would encourage everyone to jump on and do this. It's crazy. You really can create a robust picture of everything that's led you up to where you are right now. So could you briefly just talk about that?
Yeah. So when we use Living Matrix, there's 2 different kind of sets of tracking tools we use. We use a basic tracker that kind of does symptoms and kind of where you're at, assesses like where you're ready to make changes and things. And this is something that we kind of redo typically about 3 months. And you'll see it plotted on a graph. You'll see your score change and improve. And you'll see kind of how your growth trajectory happens. But then there's also the side when we do the intake calls that is a super robust questionnaire, and it's not short. It takes people a significant amount of time to fill out.
Well, I found the process of actually doing it
Mm-hmm.
myself to be enlightening.
Yes.
It's almost like a guided health history that
Mm-hmm.
shows you the implications of what's happened in the past. And that alone was a huge value
Mm-hmm.
to me, at least.
And it creates a timeline. So you're asked dates, and it's hard. Some people can't be specific on dates, but they can be close, right? You don't need to give me to the day that this thing happened. But what happens is when your timeline comes out, we'll see these like specific markers in time. And it's like, what happened in your life at this time? Why did your health derail at this point? Was it stress? Was it some kind of illness? Was it, a death in the family? Like you see like these markers, and we start to understand your story and what has, we don't just get sick overnight, right? Our health
No.
builds up over time, and it takes time to heal too. And so you see the progression in the past, and it helps kind of move you forward to the progression in the future. And for us as a team, we can use it as a tracking tool and really always make sure we're on the same page as each client's care.
Right. Make sure that each patient knows. One of the most critical things in any medical system, I don't care what people are doing, physical therapy, or they're doing, working with a coach and working on nutrition, or they're working with an acupuncturist or functional medicine. Patients need to know where they are in that process. One of the most common things is people just get lost. They just like, okay, I guess I'm doing another consult because it's consult time. And like, I don't really remember what my goals are anymore. This all seems very soft and hazy or something. Whereas the more clear we are with the direction we're moving and the stronger our intention, the more likely we are to achieve those health goals. So this living matrix is an awesome way of showing where you've been and where you're going. All these areas of coaching that Jennifer has talked about in terms of diet and sleep and movement and exercise and stress and interactions and mindfulness and environmental toxins, which are getting to be a much larger concern for all of us. Like being able to see how all these things have affected us in the past in a tangible visual representation allows us to build a plan for the future. And it's just like, it's one of those technology moments where I was kind of blown away that this thing existed. I've been so in the weeds with my patients. I like pop my head up every like 8 years to look around at what's happening technology wise. And like, I was pretty excited to see this.
It also creates
Mm-hmm.
a platform for us to share kind of like your functional medicine prescription, what is like your lifestyle plan, which is on my end more of a coaching tool, but I can, it keeps, Duncan and I on the same page too, what's going on, but we can share, here's a handout. Here is some dietary recommendations that, kind of came up from your lab reviews. And here's some ways to implement it. And it all attaches together. And so it's just a kind of all housed in one area, making it simple. You're not getting all these emails all over the place and things like that. It's just all of your stuff's kind of contained in this prescription thing that we share.
Great. Yeah, it's going to be something that's, I'm super excited. This is sort of the launch as of this video this week. I'm going to be sending out multiple emails to my patient base, but also just wanted to make this video for you guys to realize that there is this new tool now, and there should be a link with this video to help you access the living matrix, and go ahead and jump in and just get started. It's super, and even if you're watching this video and you and I haven't talked in years, or if you're seeing this video and you're thinking about working with us, but haven't taken that step yet, this is a first step that you can do to just see like what the challenges may be and where your health is strong and where perhaps it's a little bit compromised. So, I think that through this conversation that we've had, we've seen how this natural fit of health coaching and functional medicine play together. Functional medicine is a lab-based system of medicine that's all about revealing the underlying causes of illness and medically correcting those issues. But just as those wise, mentors of Chinese medicine from the past would say, like, if we don't correct the lifestyle, then
Mhm.
this will never be a lasting change. And this is getting more and more important in a
Mhm.
modern world where we're
Yep.
living more out of sync with
Yep.
biological rhythms.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that, Jennifer, I'm super, super excited to be working with you. Like, I feel like this is a quantum step forward in terms of the benefit that my patient base can have. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders because I feel like it creates a bandwidth for all of the information that I've been wanting to
Mhm.
give to patients. But as my practice has become more and more slammed over the years, it's just been very difficult. So this new collaboration between you and me here at Origins Medicine and Kalish Wellness, I think is just going to be a really, really powerful collaboration and a big benefit to our patients and a big step forward in all of us in the healthcare world learning how these tools come together. So anyway, I really appreciate your time, and I've really appreciated the time that we've worked together so far. And yeah, I look forward to working with you coming up.
Yep. Looking forward to continuing on here.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yep.